Shannon Gilligan product. Sam Rupert was great. That's why I was like, let's go back to this series. Cheryl Lee. Oh yeah, because Cheryl Lee would be the assistant. Penance. The environmental surfer. I know how to play. Okay, report of the moiter.
A body washed up today on Surfside Beach. A local surfer named Brett Penance. He was found by a woman out walking her dog at dawn.
It's always women.
Yesterday afternoon, around 4, Penance told his mother he was heading out to surf the big swells coming in. Janet Penance reported her son missing at 8:30 p.m. last night. His car was found where he had been seen surfing earlier in the day.
No men are awake before noon.
We talked to some of his surfing buddies who were with him on Friday. They all quit early because the waves were too rough. So at first we thought Penance had drowned.
But?
That was until we found the bullet hole through the left side of his chest.
Ah.
Now our question is, who put it there? Who would want to? Penance was a bit of a local hero. One of those golden kids who does no wrong. He was a champion surfer on his way to Stanford University this fall. Handsome, popular. He even had a full academic scholarship. A kid like this is not your usual murder target.
Okay.
Several of Penance's friends think it has to do with his involvement in the fight over the condo development at Fossil Cove. They all say Brett was vocally opposed to it and was fighting back hard. The permit battle has practically split the town in two. The county coroner thinks the death was
instantaneous. He got into Stanford on a surfing school. You're right.
His friends reportedly left him at about 20 after 5. A little kid who lives on the beach thinks she heard a shot sometime just before 6.
She lives on the beach.
We'll know more when the autopsy is complete. We've impounded the victim's car, Detective. We've also sealed off his room at home in case there's any clues there. It's a very clever murder, boss. Whoever did it is going to be difficult to catch.
All right. To the crime scene. Actually, let us head straight to the suspects to see if the clips are working. How many people have been murdered? Just the one. Oh my goodness, look at all these people. I need to hear from Amos. That was 20 minutes. Will it play though?
Your name and occupation.
Amos Johnson. I'm a civil engineer with my own firm. We employ about 11 other engineers.
Mr. Johnson, are you familiar with Brett Penance?
How can I not be?
What do you mean?
Brett Penance accused me of falsifying documents and results related to my hydroengineering project for Frederick and Scylla on the Fossil Cove project. He did it in a public hearing.
Did you?
Of course not. Besides, where's the proof?
Mr. Johnson, what would happen if an engineer had intentionally falsified his or her findings?
They'd lose their license, not to mention their reputation.
Which would be an adequate motive for a murder, wouldn't you say?
It might be for some people, if they had falsified the documents. Now, is that all, Miss,
Farewell. Almost. Can you tell me your whereabouts from 5 to 7 p.m. yesterday evening?
I was working at my office until about 5:30. Then I drove around in my car for a while. I've been having personal problems, and I needed some time to think.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Johnson. We'll be in touch when we have other questions.
Yes. You're welcome.
Yes. Now, this is the thing. If there's 9 people, you're going to spend at least 20 minutes with each talking to all of them. That's like half your case right there.
Your name and occupation.
Margaret Hardin. I'm a real estate broker here in South Fork. I was born here and went away for a while. I came back last year.
What do you know about Brett Penance?
He's Janet and Jack Penance's son. Jack died when he was just a boy. Janet's raised him on her own. She's turned him into quite the little environmentalist.
Would you say Brett was having success persuading the Board of Selectmen to refuse the permit for Fossil Cove?
Not really. His allegations at the last meeting about the hydrology reports was a bit desperate, in my opinion.
But if he could prove those allegations, the permit would probably be withheld, correct?
Probably. Yes. But he didn't have any proof, as far as I know.
Miss Harden, why did you go not once, but twice to Brett Penance's place of work to ask questions about him?
I knew you'd get to this.
You were stalking him.
If you want the God's truth, I was hoping to talk to the kid.
I wanted that dick.
Things were getting out of hand. I was hoping I could help him see there was another side to the picture on this thing. Brett Penance saw everyone who was involved with this project as some kind of monster. So I went to his job and talked to his friends to try to figure him out a little, figure out an approach. That's all.
Miss Harden, is it true that you are the registered broker for the Fossil Cove project?
Oh.
Yes, but I did not kill this boy thinking it might help with commissions.
Where were you between 5 and 7 p.m. yesterday
Getting
evening?
that deep.
I was showing a couple of men from out of town some real estate.
Oh, I bet you were.
They're brothers, I think. Their name is Elias, and they were staying at the Hyde Inn. I dropped them off at around 7:15. I'd been with them since 4.
Thank you for your help.
You're welcome.
Been with them since 4. Wow. Oh yeah, I gotta speak to Edward. He appears to be wearing a cravat.
Just to remind you, Detective.
I've spoken to
you've
3
used 1
people
hour
and it's used up an
5
hour.
left.
Oh god, yes.
Miss Farewell, what are you doing here? Wait a minute, don't
Detective.
tell me.
I'm afraid it's true, Mr. Talaman. I'm here to question you in connection with the death of a young man named Brett Penance.
Well, happily, I've never heard of him before in my life.
But I do believe you were a guest at the home of Frederick Kinsella this past week.
Why, yes. Fred lent me his guest house to polish up the screenplay for my latest movie project.
Oh.
It's called Attack of the Zombie Midgets. Midgets are big these days.
What?
What has this got to do with Fred?
Midgets
Mr.
are big
Kinsella
these
has
days.
been battling the local zoning board over a permit to develop at Fossil Cove Beach. There have been a number of unusual accidents occurring to people who have opposed his projects in the past. Brett Penance was one of the most vocal opponents, and now he's dead. It seems like an awful coincidence.
But you don't think I had anything to do with it, do you?
No, I have no reason to suspect you of
And
the
yet
murder,
you're a
Mr.
person I can
Talaman.
speak
Can
to.
you just tell me what you were doing yesterday between 5 and 7 p.m.?
Well, I worked at my word processor until around 5:30.
I work at my
I had to
word
unplug it because of
processor.
the storm coming up. I started a fire downstairs. I poured myself a drink. I went out with friends for dinner at 7:15. Fred pulled up just as we were leaving the house. He was coming in from New York.
Did you notice anything strange or unusual during that time?
Well, there was someone at the boathouse. I heard a boat taking off, and I couldn't believe it with the storm coming up. I went to the window. The boathouse is just a couple of 100 feet from the guest house. There was a car parked there I didn't recognize, a white or an off-white sedan of some kind, but I can't tell you make and model.
Anything else?
No, I'm afraid not. That's all.
Thanks, Mr. Talaman. I'll be in touch if there's anything else.
Sure.
You know what I think
You
would...
know, I'm starting to think I may be bad luck.
Oh, okay. I guess he must have showed up in the previous game. I'd really like it if the time taken off was actually like the time of the clips, rather than just here's 20 minutes off. Because you're gonna waste doing an entire round of this game just talking to everyone. All right, Frank, Al.
Your name and occupation.
Al Ciprano. I'm a contractor here in South Fork.
You gotta start.
Mr. Soprano, what was your relationship to Brett Penance?
Well, we were on opposite sides of the battle for the building permit for Fossil Cove. I'm the contractor on that project. He seemed like a nice kid. I'm sorry about what happened to him.
Are you aware that on 3 separate occasions, people opposed to Frederick Kinsella developments have been injured or have disappeared?
No, well, Mr. Kinsella's a tough businessman, but he's not that kind of guy. He's not going to get involved with stuff like that. Not him. Not funny stuff.
Not
Do you
funny
know
stuff.
anyone else who might want Brett Penance dead?
Well, not in particular. I think tempers have got a little too heated in this whole thing, you know, if you ask me. It's just business.
Has your temper ever gotten out of hand, Mr. Soprano?
What do you mean?
We have a report that you told Brett Penance he would get himself killed if he didn't watch out.
I'm not proud of that. I shouldn't have said it. I felt badly afterwards. I almost called Brett to apologize. But I didn't kill him.
Didn't you?
Mr. Soprano, what were you doing yesterday between 5 and 7 p.m.?
I was over at the site on Ways Lane till about 5:45. Then I stopped at Bert's Burgers for a bite. It was raining like hell then. And then I stopped off to examine a paint job we're doing over on Portico Road. It must have been about 6:20. And from there, I took the paint crew over for some beers over at the summer house. And then from there, I was home with the wife and kids at about 8 o'clock.
Thank you for your time. We'll be in touch if we have more questions.
Funny
Okay,
how when he gets really
here, I'll be over
passionate,
at the
the
site.
stutter disappears. Oh, yeah. Come on, Fred. Tell me what's happening. Oh, you've got your lawyer with you.
Your name and occupation.
Frederick Kinsella. I develop real estate. I'm doing a project out here at South Fork, at the Fossil Cove Beach.
Mr. Kinsella, what can you tell me about Brett Penance?
Nothing. He was one of a number of people that were trying to fight my development. I never spoke with the man.
According to my information, over 700 people have signed a petition against Fossil Cove. In a town of only 2,300 registered voters. Do you call that a small number?
Yes, I do.
Mr. Kinsella, there have been a number of unfortunate accidents suffered by people who have opposed your developments in the past. I believe one woman actually disappeared and is presumed dead. Do you find it odd that Mr. Penance has also been a victim of foul play?
Well,
My client does not have to answer that question. That's a leading question, Ms. Farewell. Frederick Kinsella has not been indicted.
Yes, that's correct. I only wanted Mr. Kinsella's opinion. Mr. Kinsella, can you tell me your whereabouts between 5 and 7 p.m. last night?
Go ahead.
Of course.
Go ahead.
I was at my Manhattan office till about 5:30. My driver, Paul, then took me to an opening of an art gallery, the Turner Lewis Gallery. Stayed there for about an hour. Whereupon Paul took me to the South Street Seaport, where I caught a seaplane out here to South Fork for the weekend.
Oh, that sounds
Thank you.
nice.
That will be all for now.
My pleasure, Detective.
If you'd like to come up to my room, Detective, here's my card. Oh, Cynthia. I love your hair.
Excuse me. There are 4 hours remaining.
I got it!
Have you tried retracing the victim's route?
I haven't even looked at the body yet. I'm just speaking to everyone, because, yes.
Your name and occupation.
Cynthia Rhodes. I'm head of the Board of Selectmen here at South Fork. I'm also a full-time mother.
Mrs. Rhodes, what
I
can you
bet
tell
you
me
are.
about Brett Penance?
Mr. Penance was one of the more vocal opponents to the proposed development on Stella Gibbs' farm. He has all the passion of youth, I'm afraid, and it angered a lot of people. Someone who's never had to earn a living can afford to take extreme environmental positions.
You know who this woman reminds me of?
Are
She
you
reminds me of
for
an
the
older
development?
Jemina Roper.
In this case, yes, it means many jobs. And Fossil Cove has been very sensitively designed and sited. They've done it so the structures
Like if
will have
anyone
as little
remixed-
impact as possible.
You're worried that Jason Turley's
I'm
going to
not
destroy you with facts
wildly
and logic.
pro-development myself. You can look at my record, Miss Farewell. But this is responsible development. I don't think it's any secret that I'm for it.
Have you heard anything about falsified hydroengineering reports submitted as part of the permit process?
Yes, there have been
Maybe
some
they-
insinuations. Brett Penance made some of them himself. But as public officials, we must deal with hard evidence, facts. And there were none. Anybody can make insinuations.
Did you think someone was mad enough to kill Brett over the insinuations?
Yes, and I've said so in private.
Oh.
The last public meeting on Tuesday got nearly violent. I have to admit that when I got the news this morning about Brett, I wasn't entirely surprised.
Where were you between 5 and 7 p.m. last night?
I was cooking most of that time. I had friends in for dinner. I got back from the market about 5:30 and cooked until everyone arrived 2 hours later. Both my children were home and can verify that.
Thank you, Mrs. Rhodes. We'll be in touch if there are any other questions.
I bet
You're
we'll
welcome. I'll be happy to answer any of them.
All right, Stella, tell me about your farm. Damn.
Your name and occupation?
Oh, I'm Stella Gibbs. I used to farm before my husband Owen died. Now, that was 5 years ago. Now I just keep a vegetable garden. Well, potato farming's too much work for a woman alone, and none of the kids are interested in farming.
Mrs. Gibbs, what can you tell me about Brett Penance?
That he was a young whippersnapper
Oh.
with a too high opinion of himself.
I killed him
Now, he was
myself.
fighting the sale of my land, trying to stop the permit from going through.
You own the land at Fossil Cove?
Yes. Well, Fred Kinsella's given me a nice down payment, but the sale isn't final till the permit's in place. And let me tell you one thing.
Yep, a whippersnapper.
People who are 18 years old have no right trying to tell a body what they can or can't do with the land they have worked all their lives. Now, nobody can. And that's the trouble with all these folks from out of town. They think that once they're here, nothing else has got the right to change.
But Brett Penance was born here.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but he got his ideas from someplace else.
Well, he
Now,
wasn't here
things
20
change,
years ago, was he?
And people just have to accept it. And I'll take this thing all the way to the Supreme Court in Washington.
Wow.
But I am selling my land to whoever I please, and what they do with it is their business and nobody else's.
Mrs. Gibbs, where were you between 5 and 7 p.m.
I mean, you probably
night?
wouldn't care if
I was here at home.
You just be like,
I
it's yours
cooked
now.
supper
Do with it what
and
you
ate
want.
at 5:30, watched the 6 o'clock news, and then I worked on my quilt squares until I turned in at 8 o'clock. You can ask my son, Owen Jr. He was here the whole time. We still keep farmers' hours.
Do you know anyone who might want Brett Penance dead?
If this is one of those trick questions, Ms. Farewell, I guess you'll
Detective
just have to
Farewell.
find some other fool to trick. No, I don't know anyone who would kill Brett Penance just because they wanted to build condos.
Thank you for your time, Mrs. Gibbs.
Oh, you're welcome.
Cool. Thanks. I will leave Jason till us so he can destroy Nicola, finally. Come on, Braxton Smith.
Your name and relation to the deceased?
You just smiled.
My name is Braxton Smith, and I knew Brett from the fight to prevent the Kinsella development at Fossil Cove.
You were on the same side?
Yes. My husband's family place, the Smith farm, is right next to the Gibbs farm. Brett and I got involved. We became friends when we both joined the fight to try to stop it.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Smith, there's
But
some talk
you
that you had
smiled
become personally
when we
involved
stopped.
with Brett Penance.
Ooh!
It's idle talk. People just say that because my husband works in the city and I'm alone here with the kids all week. Look, Brett and I were spending a lot of time together, and we did become close friends.
When did you last see the victim alive?
At the permit hearing 2 nights ago.
Who would want to kill someone like Brett Penance?
Someone who's mean and sick.
All right.
Someone like Frederick Kinsella.
Can you tell me your whereabouts last night between 5 and 7?
Yeah, I left the house at around 4:30 to run some errands.
All right.
I went to the vegetable stand and the post office. And then I went to my health club to work out, and I left in time to catch my husband's flight at 6:45.
Thank you. We'll be in touch if we have more questions.
I hope you find his killer.
Because I want that D back. Oh, Nick, are you ready? Are you ready, Nick? It's time. His eyes are coming for you.
Detective, you're halfway there. The autopsy should be ready by now, shouldn't they?
I haven't even looked at the crime scene.
Your name and occupation?
Jason Turley, I surf.
You surf
I
for a living?
destroy
No,
his
but I'm
curses.
taking the summer off before I go back to school.
Oh.
Did you know Brett Penance?
Yeah, and we weren't the best of friends, as you probably heard. That's why you're asking me questions, right?
Because I did it.
You think I killed him, don't you?
Mr. Turley, someone has stepped forward to say that you had recently threatened Brett's life. We have to investigate any such reports.
Yeah, well, I can tell you one thing. Brett had no business getting involved in something that was between me and Andrea. It was our problem and we were dealing with it.
Oh.
Man, Penance was such a pain sometimes. Always trying to save the world,
Penance
acting like
is
he was
such a
God.
pain. You're right.
Like that permit fight, right? What a joke.
My understanding, Mr. Turley, was that you were assaulting your girlfriend, and that Brett Penance stopped you.
Hey, if I was assaulting my girlfriend, how come she didn't call the police? Huh? How come we're still going out?
Oh, I feel sorry for her.
That was Penance for you, always sticking his nose into where it didn't belong. Frankly, I'm not surprised this came down for him.
Mr. Turley, where were you between 5 and 7 p.m. last night?
I was on my way back here from the city. I had to go in and see the doc for the planner's ward on my heel. Next question?
That will be all for now. We'll be in touch once we've checked your alibi.
Sounds fine to me. Stay cool, babe.
Stay cool, babe, he says to the detective. Hey, Nick. Stay cool, babe. We're giving the chair, right? Yeah. Alright, let's finally look at that crime scene. Oh, no. Spooge. No additional blood was found. This indicates it stopped bleeding by the time he came to the shore. Okay, that's better than I thought it was going to be. Body's positioned at the edge of this morning's high tide, which occurred at 4:40 a.m., indicating that it's likely when he washed ashore. There's canine footprints, Maria Waxman's dog, well, she's the one who found him. That's Detective Babe to you! Appear to be those that belong to Maria. Yeah. There are no human footprints initially found with the body. What footprints do match many hours later? Let's check out this deed. Okay. 2 unidentified sets of fingerprints other than the victim's on the torso of his wetsuit. They appear to be embedded in the wetsuit material and not necessarily made at or near the time of death. Okay. No additional substances. Okay. Let's check this. It is so nice that they left the body here and then did the autopsy right here, so that contusion on the left side of the victim's face, falling on his surfboard. I suppose, yeah, if he was shot while he was out at sea. Got any witnesses? Oh God, so many witnesses. We can, okay, so we can either speak to, I'm just looking at the people, I kind of want to speak to Carlos Foster, look at that hair, and Randy Howland, and maybe his mother. Okay, we're going Randy first. Joel Franklin looks like he'd be a time as well.
My name's Randy Howland. I'm a good friend of Brett's. We were surfing together yesterday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to leave early to get to work. The storm was coming, and the waves are a little sketchy anyway. So Carlos Foster, the other guy with us, we bailed. Brett said he wanted to hang, and it's about 5:30. He was solo.
Too soon?
One thing's for sure, whoever killed Brett knew his surfing habits.
Storms are coming.
He was the best. He'd surf everything. So they knew he'd be out there with a swell like that.
Is there anything else?
I hate to turn in a brother, but there's someone you should check out. His name's Jason Turley.
Oh!
He's totally trippy. He's an okay surfer, but he's got some damage.
He's damaged.
About 2 weeks ago, a bunch of us were out at Surfside. The waves were sweet. We were heading in at sundown. Brett and I came over the dunes. It's where the cars were. Jason was wailing on his girlfriend.
Oh.
She was screaming and crying. And He was thrashing her as hard as he could. Brett got so smoked, he beat the shit out of him right there. Probably saved Andrea's life. Anyway, Jason got so pissed off. He's going around saying he wasted Brett. Said he was just chilling till he got his chance. Way freaky if you ask me.
You could surf anything. Water, concrete, time.
I just hope you find the guy, whoever it is.
Also, hello, Sentinel. I want to speak to this little... This is the child that apparently lives at the beach. How do you live at the beach, child? Tell me about it. And then we got to speak to Carlos.
Your name?
Courtney Rook. You want to know about the dead guy, right?
Yes.
Yes, we do.
Well, see, there was a guy out surfing last night. The waves were really, really big. It was kind of hard to see him because the rain was so heavy, but I'm pretty sure he's the only one. I didn't see anyone else. All of a sudden, I heard a shot. There was a boat going by at the same time. A gray one. It blended right in with the water. Anyway, I watched the boat for about a minute. It headed straight out to sea. Then I noticed that the surfer guy was gone.
Do you remember the exact time?
It was getting kind of dark. I was out looking for my dog Sam because he has to be in before dinner. That's the rule. So it was maybe 15 minutes before 6. We eat at 6.
We always eat at 6 on the beach. Come on, Carlos. Show me that beautiful... Oh, it's even more lustrous than I thought. I thought maybe it just ended there at his shoulders.
My name is Carlos Foster.
I'm in love.
I was out surfing with Brett yesterday before he was killed. It was just a normal day. You know, we went out, surfing heavy swell. We got out of the cars, put our suits on. Randy Howland was with us. Me and Randy didn't stay long. Brett said go on ahead. He wanted to catch a few more waves. Beach was empty when we left.
Is there anyone you know who might have had a reason to kill him?
I know everybody's gonna say that it was somebody from Kinsella's side, but there's a wild card you might want to know about. It's this woman in town.
Oh.
She's a middle-aged lady, 34, 35. Her name's Braxton Smith. And she kind of had a thing for Brett. She started calling him all the time, inviting him over for dinner. Her old man's some heavy player on Wall Street. He only comes out on weekends. I caught her once up at Surfside watching Brett surf through some binoculars. I ragged him really bad about it. But it really bothered him, you know, you could tell.
Interesting.
He told me something.
Lover.
He made me swear not to tell anybody. I don't think he talked to anybody else about it. I want to tell you, but I just don't want Mrs. Penance to find out.
Oh.
We'll be as discreet as we possibly can.
He slept with her once.
Woo!
With Braxton Smith. He said it was almost an accident.
What? No.
He said she was a really good person and that he felt sorry for her. I think she thought it was going to be the beginning of some big affair or something. But she got kind of upset when he told her that wasn't what it was about. She wanted to leave her husband for him.
I mean...
Anyway, I dropped Brett off at his house last week after a party. Must have been about 1 a.m. And on the other side of the street, I see Braxton parked in a car. She kind of ducked down when I went by, but I saw her anyway. Weird, huh? I told Brett about it, but he didn't say much. I don't know. I don't think she would, you know, I don't know.
Knock him off?
Love makes people strange.
He just fell right in.
I think I'm the only person that knows about this.
He fell in, he fell out. He fell in,
Please
he fell out.
don't tell his mom. I don't want her to find out.
Yeah. It might disturb her to know that he slept with an old woman. Alright, let's tell his mother. No, I want to know about Joel and his mustache.
It's your chief speaking.
Hi.
Only 2 hours left to solve this murder. The Chamber of Commerce is having a conniption fit about this. They say murder is all wrong for their vacation image.
Oh, God.
You're telling me.
My name is Joel Franklin. I have a summer house on Surfside, the beach where the victim disappeared.
Okay.
I didn't know him, but yesterday when the storm came up, I was outside. I love thunderstorms, have since I was a kid. This one was a beaut. It was about 10 minutes to 6. I looked up the beach toward the west. I wasn't expecting to see anyone, so when I did, I was surprised to see someone out surfing. A beautiful surfer, too. The waves were huge. Anyway, a phone call came just about then. I was on the line for 4 or 5 minutes. When I came back outside, the surfer was gone. It was 5:53 exactly.
His beauties.
I noted it on the clock beside the phone when I hung up.
Because we always eat at 6. I get you. You're her father. Secretly. Let's speak to the mother.
Your name?
I'm Janet Penance, Brett's mom.
The little girl on the beach.
He left the house yesterday around 4, saying that he was going to the beach and that he had an errand after that. He said he'd be home around 7. He's never late, and when he didn't come home by 8:30, I got nervous. That's when I called the police.
I didn't kill him, I swear.
You know, I can't help but think that this has something to do with that fight over the development at Fossil Cove Beach. Everyone, the developer, the owner of the land, the builder, even the head of the city council, they were furious with Brett. It means a lot of jobs. You know, real estate's been way down.
Do you work in the industry?
I know he loved the wetlands there, and this meant a lot to him, but I wish he'd never gotten involved in the whole mess.
Ms. Penance, we're keeping your son's car down at the police station for further investigation.
Do you want
We'd also like to seal off his bedroom and take a good look around.
Yeah, I understand. Please.
We'll need to talk to Mr. Penance.
You can't.
He dead.
He's dead.
Yeah.
He died when Brett was 3.
I mean, sorry.
Is there anything else you can think of about yesterday? Anything that sticks in your mind that might help us?
He was shot when Brett was 3.
He was carrying a manila envelope.
Oh.
It probably had something to do with Fossil Cove.
I was about to be like, to go surfing?
Always carrying papers related to the case.
And took them surfing. Alright. Is that autopsy ready?
There is no real way to confirm this alibi. The suspect's doctor's appointment in Manhattan was at 10 in the morning.
Okay.
He left by 11. He was seen by the doorman in his parents' building at 1022 Fifth Avenue a half an hour later. That's the last time anyone can verify his whereabouts. I checked at the garage where he keeps his car, and they said he called for it early, around 8, and never returned it. He's missing for most of the day and could have easily made it out to South Fork in time to commit murder. He's also apparently excellent on the sea with boats.
Intriguing. Intriguing. Let's move to the press conference.
Where is the boathouse? Where is the body found?
Where is the boathouse?
It's the Fossil Cove project.
Yes. What? He slept with the... Okay. They can't see yet. Boathouse from main house. Oh, he wasn't having an affair. I thought he was. Well, he accidentally... He accidentally banged her after all. I suppose that's not really an affair if it's just the once. It was just like, oh. He left her there. She wanted a proper affair. I mean, it still counts as cheating, but I suppose he's not the one who was cheating. She was the one who was cheating. Who lived next to each other? I don't know. I'd say Cynthia and Margaret. Nope. By helicopter. Okay, apparently not. Carlos wanted Braxton, I thought. No? Yep, Braxton Smith. Someone's connected to Fossil Cove. Oh, it was an off-white car. Okay, apparently not. They were potato farmers. Oh, he was on a seaplane. Yeah, he wanted to look at Fisher Island, I'm gonna say. Okay, apparently not. Where did Brett have a job? Healthy Dave's. No.
I've seen better press conferences, Detective. I think we need to do a little more investigating.
Yeah, probably. But you only gave me a 6-hour time frame, and, you know, those interviews didn't take 20 minutes each. Alright. Let's look at this autopsy. Okay, let's see. Brett. Edward Penance. Long Island. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Huh. I'm paid. There we go. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I know usually I read that out, but there's nothing we haven't really learned here so far. Here we go. Yeah, okay, from the seepage, no blood splatter anywhere. Okay, so it went right through him. 0.37 inches in diameter. Mm-hmm. Okay, chest wound, yep. Ring abrasion, 9 millimeters, yeah, mm-hmm. The snowstorm pattern is consistent with the bullet path of a high-powered rifle. So someone has to be able to use a rifle. Sand. Died about 12:30, alright. Okay, high-powered bullet. Minor contusion in the victim's left cheek. Okay. Cool. He's healthy and vital except for him being dead because of this wound. Okay. Thank you, Paul. Alright, so Paul said he got shot by a high-powered rifle about 12:30 at night. Let's check that bedroom. Oh yeah, gotta go in the hamper. Oh god, why am I going in the hamper?
We found a videotape in the bottom of Brett's laundry hamper.
No, no.
I think you'll find it very interesting, Detective.
It's porn. Hi, Brett.
My name is Brett Penance. I'm making this tape because there's valuable information that people have got to know about.
Okay.
And I'm afraid I may not get to tell it.
Okay.
I hope I come home tonight and can find this tape and where I've hidden it. If I'm able to, it means that the necessary information has made it to the right hands. But if I don't come back, it means that the information hasn't been delivered. Which is why I'm making this tape. It's Friday, May 23rd, around 3 o'clock, and I have a meeting this evening at 6 with a reporter named James Holt. He works for the New York World Herald. I will be delivering documents to Holt that show the intentional tampering with hydrology test results at the Fossil Cove wetlands. These results were modified in favor of an application made by Frederick Kinsella Partners.
Okay.
The results were falsified by their chief engineer, Mr. Amos Johnson. The materials that I will be delivering to Holt tonight contain the actual hydrology test results, with notes made in Kinsella's handwriting.
Why didn't they call us till now?
Indicate which figures he wanted changed. These new results diminish the size and extent of the wetlands by 45%. And according to the zoning bylaws of South Fork, Kinsella claims he has rights to build 125 houses and condominiums on Stella Gibbs Farm. According to my calculations, based on the actual hydrology test results, Kinsella has rights to build 11. The real heroine of this story is the person who risked her life to provide me with copies and the documents. I promise never to reveal her name, and I won't, but she really deserves most of the credit. Now my task is to deliver the documents. One will be given to Holt, James Holt, later this evening, and the other copy can be found buried under a large granite rock in my mother's side garden.
Oh!
Sorry, Mom, that I disturbed the plants and made a mess, but
I'm dead now.
It's all in the name of the planet, I guess. And I'm really sorry, Mom, about the subterfuge and the runaround. I just knew you'd get really worried if I told you, and I didn't want to get you involved. I've been followed. Someone tried to run me off the road and kill me.
Oh.
And it's a mess. But I really love you, Mom, and, you know, I don't know, you've just been the best. So, anyway, I gotta go.
I don't work at Healthy Dave's. Oh. I was like, we're done now. All right. Will I lose that time? Okay, so it's already counted, so, okay. I thought he was done. What'd she say?
We indeed just found the envelope that Brett Penance refers to, exactly where he described. The proper authorities are being notified. Now all we need to find is the killer.
Where are we up to? Civil engineer. She called Brett a whippersnapper. All right. Oh, so these are all the notes that I've collected. Ooh, personal notes. I thought you would like it. Well, let's check his bed. Okay, nothing on his bed, it seems. Oh. Select 3 suspects. Alright. I want to hear more from you. And you. And, oh, which one of these 3 gentlemen do we want to hear from? I think let's hear more from Al. Who's Susan Newcomb? All right.
Listen, there's only 1 hour left.
I know.
Use your time carefully. From here on, every minute counts.
I don't know.
Okay. You went for dinner around 6, but they said you only had a Coke. Of your Ponk crew, said you didn't arrive until 6:40. Where were you between these hours?
I had a personal appointment. It has nothing to do with all this.
Okay.
I didn't kill Brett.
What did you do? Well, what did you do? He has a Dodge Ram, alright. Tell me about this.
No. Things scare me.
Okay. Jason? Do you know how to fire a rifle?
Yeah. I was on varsity skeet at prep school.
Oh.
I was the best on the team.
Oh, Jason. Jason, no. Where is the boat kept? What boat?
Keep it in a slip at the yacht club.
Oh, God. You do know how to sail a boat. Alright, Braxton. Tell me about you fucking.
Please, don't tell my husband.
Too late. I mean, what?
Yeah. I sometimes follow Britt just to watch him.
That's not a good answer. Did you fuck him?
No. Well, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to.
No.
But he didn't.
But I thought that he slept with you. I suppose that was the affair part. Do you know how to fire a gun? What? A fresh fingerprints near Brett's car? Yeah, okay.
I knew that he had papers that would implicate Kinsella in the hydrology. Kinsella and Amos Johnson both. He got them from somebody that worked with Johnson, but he wouldn't say who. It was just too dangerous showing them to Holt. For Brett to do, I mean. So I took them from the backseat of his car while he was surfing.
Okay.
I was so afraid for him. I was afraid that something like this was going to happen. I wanted to take them to the board. It was just safer. They couldn't come after me because Lloyd's too rich and powerful.
Interesting. Okay, so I was just having a look on Wikipedia about this game. So, you know at the beginning where it said, like, choose your murder? So there are 3 different murderers. So, she or Jonas, you know what I mean, could potentially be the killer in other ones, but I think we are, unfortunately, more along the lines of these people. Let's do a warrant for no reason. Alright, what was the name of that dude? He was Amos. temporary insanity. No, to defend honor. High priority rifle. Between... at or around 6 p.m. Weapon, nicotine, what?
Detective, you have a half hour to go.
I know, I just put in an
only
application.
10 minutes before you have to file your warrant to arrest.
I'm filing a warrant.
If you don't have a suspect, it's time to make a guess.
Your stated alibi in the warrant application does not match the suspect's. Please try again, Detective.
I'm afraid 6 hours is up, and I'm going to have to put you on to another case. A woman named Taylor French was murdered.
I know.
She was a crack investigative reporter with a lot of enemies.
She had crack?
A lot of enemies. I hope you have more luck with this one, Detective.
But mate, we could work it out. I swear. Oh. Brett by name, Brett by nature. I think next weekend, next Grammar Hole, we're going to come back to this and we're going to play it. We're going to play it until we work it out. Now that we've actually had our introduction to everyone, I think that's a good start. So we can, speak to the rest of the witnesses, do a bit more investigation in the scenery. But yeah, we will end. Well, it just ended itself. So we'll end this. But yes, we'll come back to this. And we'll try and get Who Killed Taylor French running for another Grammar Hole. There is another one called Who Killed Elspeth Haskard, The Magical Death? The Magical Death. So